Oye, mi gente, you're listening to the Red Lips Real Talk podcast,
where we talk about life, love, and everything in between.
You already know. It's time to get real.
Dale.
He was charming, elusive, untouchable. He walked among presidents, royalty, billionaires, a world of power and privilege. But behind the glittering facade, there was a darkness most of us could not imagine. Jeffrey Epstein. Not just a story of wealth and scandal, but a window into a system built to protect the powerful, silence the victims, and thrive on secrets. On today's episode of Red Lips Real Talk, we are pulling back the curtain, separating fact from speculation, exploring the conspiracies, and asking the questions many of us are asking and want answers to. So settle in, stay close, and prepare to enter a world where power shields the guilty and secrets have cost lives. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So,
This is deep.
this is deep.
Yes. I have really tried hard to do a lot of research because, there's stuff that you see on headlines and on TV.
It's overwhelming information.
And sometimes people don't want to know too much because it's disturbing.
It is. I didn't want to even look into it.
Honestly, even the three of us were like, should we do this?
Yeah.
But I think it's important to raise awareness. So I know now more than I want to know.
For real.
Honestly, because, there's rumors, there's conspiracies, and then there's the truth that can be proven and is factual. So I think what we're trying to do is stay as factual as possible.
Yeah.
But we will get into conspiracies and we will get into, what do you think about this? It looks suspicious, but
Right.
but I
There's
think
so many.
there's a lot of overwhelming stuff. But before we get into the files and the headlines, I think we should just start with a basic question, like who was Jeffrey Epstein, or better said, who is Jeffrey Epstein? Because some people still think he's alive.
Right.
What do you guys think? You think he's still alive?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So here's a little backstory on Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was an American financier who became internationally known after being charged with sex trafficking of minors. But long before the criminal cases made front page news, he had spent decades building a reputation as a mysterious billionaire with very powerful connections. He was born in 1953 in Brooklyn, New York. And he grew up in a middle-class family. His dad worked in the New York City Parks Department. I think his mom was a stay-at-home mom, but don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure. But bottom line, he had a simple, humble life. He attended Cooper Union, and then he went to NYU. But he never graduated college. He didn't get a degree. But despite that, he landed a job as a teacher, teaching math and physics at Dalton School, one of Manhattan's most prestigious private schools. And he didn't have a teaching degree. He got the job from personal connections. I think it's critical to have our listeners know that, because that is the foundation of who Jeffrey Epstein is. He is a master manipulator. He has the gift of gab, and he's able to coerce people into giving him very powerful things. Like, how do you become a teacher without having a degree for math and physics? But also, he must have been a very brilliant man, because how do you get away with that if you're not a smart guy? So from there, he made a jump to Wall Street, and he started working during that Burns and Stearns, the Wolf of Wall Street, 80s yuppies, But he was only there for 5 years. And in those 5 years, he was rubbing elbows already with very wealthy people, which, guess what? He started making a lot of money, and then he opened up his own firm. So in 5 years, he had enough money to leave Burns Stearns and start his own thing, which kind of gives me that Bernie Madoff feel, right. Which you have to be a smart guy, to convince people to give you money. So then he left Burns Stearns, but they really didn't get into specifics as to why he left, but I'm assuming it's just because he wanted to do his own thing. So now we're going to jump forward to the early 2000s. Okay. So for 20 years, he's been doing this. So he positioned himself as not just only a financer, but a connector of powerful people. So he's introducing powerful people to other powerful people. And that's kind of how he started to become powerful himself. But what makes this story so striking is the contrast that for years he was accepted in elite spaces and treated as a legitimate financial figure. But then comes the criminal investigations that unfolded, the image and the reality collided in a way that shocked the public. And this is how the story truly begins.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yes. I think it's important for our listeners to kind of get a feel of who this man was in his early years, because all you hear about is he's a convicted sexual predator,
Right.
But like, how did he, this is a guy that came from humble beginnings that didn't really have this type of wealth. And now he's hanging out with, very powerful people, politicians, I think what really took him to like extreme power was when I know I'm jumping forward here and we'll get into that, but once he convinced the guy from Victoria's Secret to give him power of attorney. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, he started hanging out now with the royal family, which is kind of crazy.
And then when he met Ghislaine,
Yeah.
because she was also connected, she was also in powerful families.
So what first brought him under investigation? What happened?
Well, it says here that the first cracks started to appear in 2005, actually here in Florida, in Palm Beach. Why does always shit have to go down in Florida?
I know, right?
Florida's known for
Can
the
always
shit.
make us look bad.
Florida. When I see people on comments going, Florida, I'm like, yeah, Florida. Sorry. But yeah, in 2005, the parents of a 14-year-old girl went to the Palm Beach police and told them and reported that she had been paid to be given massages to Epstein in his home, and she's 14.
Wow.
Yeah. So as detectives looked deeper, they identified multiple teenage girls who described a similar pattern with payments, recruitments, and in some cases, even being encouraged to bring other girls with them of similar ages. That's freaking insane.
Wow. 14.
14. I remember being 14. I was a baby.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was targeting people that come from broken homes. I believe that's what they were saying. That
Yeah.
a single mom, always working.
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I will say that the police officer, the main detective of this case in 2005, because this was like for 3 years that they were investigating him with these allegations, he was disgusted with the plea deal. So I'll get into that now. So in 2008, Epstein reached a non-prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that was led by Alexander Acosta. And instead of facing major federal charges, he pleaded guilty in state court to lesser offenses related to the solicitation. He served 13 months in a county jail. But ladies, buckle up. He had work release privileges.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I mean by that? Epstein was allowed to have a work release 12 hours a day, 6 days a week during his 13 months in jail.
For molesting
Yeah.
14-year-olds.
Yeah. The deal granted him immunity, not only for Epstein, but for some co-conspirators who are unnamed. So they have been protected to the full extent of the law.
So is that why all those names are redacted?
Yes, probably.
Because they're the ones that...
I mean, I don't know if it's all of them, but
Jeez.
it's really disgusting. Mm-hmm. That's why it was very hard for me to even want to do this show, because it's very emotional. Like when you really sit down and you do a deep dive like the three of us have, you realize how corrupt and how many people are truly involved in this. So here's the sad part. The victims were not informed before the deal was finalized, which was later ruled that it was a violation of the Crimes Victims' Rights Act. And this agreement is still one of the most controversial plea deals in modern federal criminal history.
So how did they let them keep it if it went against the act? That's
because he was granted immunity. And when you're given immunity, that's it. That's why Ghislaine Maxwell, if that's really her, because that don't look like her, that's why she wants immunity. Yeah.
because he got it.
Because he got it, yeah. Yep. So that's kind of what happened in 2008. So I think it's important to also note that, yes, there were a lot of people that associated with Epstein, but they associated with him before this conviction. And then there are the people who were in his life after the conviction.
Right.
And I think that those are two very strong distinctions, Because once you know that this guy is a convicted sexual predator and you still are like, yeah, you're like the Duchess of York sending him emails like, oh, I'm indebted to you and will marry me. It's like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's why she's in hiding. Because at the end of the day, how do you defend that?
Right.
But then there's people who were hanging out with him a lot, like President Bill Clinton. He was a lot too, and so was Trump, and so was Naomi Campbell, and a lot of people that were named on the list. And they were like, "Look, we were named on the list, but we didn't really do anything."
He was a businessman,
Yes,
a financier, so I could see him having all those connections with all those people.
Right.
but it's overwhelming. It's like Stephen Hawkins, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz.
Right, but like you said, at one point, once you know that this is a convicted sexual offender,
Yes,
he pled guilty, right?
Yes,
he
he
got a
did.
deal.
Yes.
He did his little time. It's on his record. So, yeah, why don't you cut ties if that's not your thing,
Yeah.
right? But if you're still going to parties and the island and this and that with him, then at that point, you can't say, oh, it was just business.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it looks like he was getting away with it. He got his plea deal. He was chilling. But in 2018, investigative reporting brought renewed attention to the original plea deal and how it was handled. Public scrutiny intensified. Then in July 2019, federal prosecutors in New York arrested Jeffrey Epstein at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. This time, the charges were brought by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. There he was indicted on federal sex trafficking and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors alleged that between 2002 and 2005, Epstein recruited and abused underage girls in both New York and Florida. According to court filings, investigators also searched his Manhattan townhome and reported finding large amounts of cash, CDs, and other materials. So unlike in 2008, there was no quiet plea deal this time. He was denied bail after prosecutors argued he was a serious flight risk, citing his wealth, private plane, and multiple international properties. For the first time, it appeared he would face a full federal trial. But that trial never happened.
Yeah, it never happened. And why didn't it happen, Maritza?
Because he died.
What?
Apparently, he took his life.
Apparently, he took his life. Okay, so yeah, like if you research it, if you really do a deep dive, they go into like specifics on what happened to his neck and the bone.
Right.
Like, you can really go take this as far as you can. But then you see videos. I hate to say this, but it's TikTok, and then you see videos on TikTok of him walking in the streets of where was it? Sweden or something.
New Orleans or something,
Israel.
right? Or Israel, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man.
But see, with AI, I
looks like
can't.
it.
I know, you
Because
cannot.
there was the one with the guy that supposedly saw Ghislaine Maxwell
But
too.
that looked like her too,
And
man.
he said that he did that for humor.
Yeah.
That was AI.
Really?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. You can't trust shit.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I don't believe it was a suicide. That I don't believe.
I don't believe that neither.
I don't believe
But I
that.
do believe he's gone.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they collected a lot of things. He knows a lot of things. They're not
his-
going to want him
his,
hanging around.
The person that he was in the cell with, I think, was some kind of was he a cop? I think he had, like a corrupt cop, and I think his charges were like really intense. So I think the question was like, why would they put him there? Because they need Epstein for like a lot of information.
Yeah.
With somebody like that.
But I know, Maritza.
Not saying that he did it. I'm just saying, I guess it's like who they partnered him up with in the cell. So apparently he took his life, but there were multiple failures in jail protocol, apparently. So this is why, of course, the stories don't really
match up.
He was supposed to be checked on constantly on the special housing unit, yet guards fell asleep and falsified logs. And his cellmate had been removed just before his death, leaving him alone. That's what they say. And third, several of the security cameras outside his cell malfunctioned.
How convenient.
How convenient. And the footage from that night of the death was unusable. And finally, despite all the speculation, the official ruling by the New York City Medical Examiner was suicide by hanging. The independent forensic experts have confirmed that the fractures could occur in suicidal hangings and are not definitive a proof of foul play. So these are the facts. Strange, unsettling, and
Yeah.
I guess misunderstood, but they tell the story of what really happened inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center that night.
Yeah, it's wild.
According to them.
According to them. Right.
Yeah. Because like I said, I believe he's dead, but yeah, there was a hit on him.
Well, I'm not going to lie.
I believe that.
I still have a little feeling that he's alive.
So,
I know that sounds crazy.
So he's with Tupac?
No, I think Tupac is dead.
They keep saying he's alive too.
No, I think Tupac is dead, but I don't know. I have this gut feeling that he's alive. But
those people would not keep him alive.
You don't? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He knows too much.
Yeah.
And if shit really hits the fan,
yeah,
he's gonna.
So you think he was murdered? Maybe.
I think so.
Murdered. Okay.
I don't think that was suicide.
Right. But then, why is Maxwell still around?
Well, is she really in jail? Because that doesn't look like her. Her nose is huge.
Again, AI. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they might. I don't know. They probably have her more,
unless she's
secured.
Cooperating and they're not saying it.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of people.
That's why she wants immunity.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Immunity is very powerful.
I think they're waiting for this all to like die down,
and
then probably like, okay, she did her time, she's released, and they're probably giving her some hope.
Yeah,
but
do you think this can die down though?
Not for a while.
Not for a long time.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
I mean, are we going to do anything? Is our government going to get involved? Are they going to start holding people accountable? If they don't, I don't see any. Who's going to talk about it then?
Whoever wants to blackmail somebody else, if it comes up.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything is out there.
Yeah.
Everything is out there. There's a whole.
Is everything out there?
Website.
I don't know.
You know, all the conspiracies that people were talking about are kind of making sense now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, it's like we mentioned before with the whole Wayfair thing. And I was like, oh, that's like being dismissive. Like, oh, that's not real.
Yeah.
But then I saw this video on social media and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. This is a little too much for me. So I'm going to play it. This is not proven.
Right.
I want to make that clear. This is only a suspicion and a conspiracy theory, but holy macaroni. So here goes.
Wayfair was selling furniture with the same name as missing girls. For example, in 2019, a 17-year-old girl from Ohio named Samaya went missing. Then, a few days later, Wayfair listed a Samaya 5 shelf storage cabinet for almost $13,000. In 2020, a 16-year-old girl from Connecticut named Yuritsa went missing. And a few days later, the Yuritsa storage cabinet went up for sale on Wayfair for just under $14,000. May 2020, from Kansas City, a 14-year-old girl named Annabelle goes missing. Same storage unit, sold on Wayfair. Annabelle with the same selling for just under $11,000. January 2020, Kyla Coleman, 16 years old from Cleveland, goes missing. You can already guess. Wayfair, same name. This one discounted for $12,000. Everyone always called this a conspiracy theory until now, when a receipt from Wayfair was found in the Epstein files. Look, we know that Jeffrey Epstein's network has a history with missing girls. Don't forget this picture of John Benet Ramsey and Ghislaine Maxwell lurking in the background.
Okay.
So I remember though.
So
that
he's not behind that. Wayfair was behind that totally, because he's dead by that time.
No.
This was before.
This is before, Mama.
She said 2020.
Yes, he
died in 2019.
Right,
but this was in the files.
The conspiracy theories were before he was even.
Yes.
Oh, she said posted 2020. That's why I'm like, wait. So who's behind it?
So it's very, because now those same, I hear what you're saying, and that's something to ponder on. But one of the receipts was found in the Epstein files. So,
but he's okay. Not that he.
I mean, Maxwell was arrested.
Mm-hmm.
She was arrested in 2020.
Okay, not that he's responsible for Wayfair. That's not what I don't think what they were saying.
No, I'm saying
Wayfair
for the posting.
was part of the network of trafficking children. That's what they were saying back then.
Well, Wayfair, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Wayfair is kind of like Amazon, where it's just, they have all these vendors come in and they sell independently, but they use the Wayfair platform, kind of like Amazon.
Right.
So Wayfair is the host, But
Right.
Wayfair is not the one that's actually committing the crime. And they have, they're not being found convicted of any wrongdoing.
Right.
But what I find deeply disturbing is that these same cabinets today are being sold on Wayfair for $139.
Right.
Okay.
Type of
And these are all girls that went missing within days.
I'm sorry, but that report came from where? Like this conspiracy came from where?
So the first time I saw it was on TikTok, right?
No, but
And then-
They're not actual facts. Is
No,
what I'm trying to say.
But then,
No, they may not be factual, right? They were conspiracy theories
Yes.
that QAnon back then was citing. They were saying Pizzagate this. They're using Wayfair to traffic children. They posted pictures of those cabinets being sold for that amount of money. This was way back before they released the Epstein files. So,
Okay.
but now that it's all coming circle. They released the files. Oh, look, he's got a Wayfair receipt for a cabinet. So maybe they weren't
Right.
too crazy when they were saying that. That's what we're like just trying to say. Like, not that we don't know if it's true or if
Right.
it's factual or if there's evidence, but there's a receipt in the Epstein files. And they kept mentioning Pizzagate,
yeah.
pizza. And all the emails are like, thanks for the pizza party.
Right.
The pizza was great. Like,
Well,
why are you
how about when you
emailing a
meant-
financier
or those
about a
emails
pizza?
are like about the torture?
Yes.
Come on. It's deeply.
It's
I mean, we
sick.
can go in here deep on like baby eating and blood. I mean, the things Roseanne Barr has said is. Have you heard what Roseanne Barr?
Yes, I heard that they did an interview. Who was it with Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
And she was saying that they eat babies.
Yeah,
They sacrifice
But see-
humans and they eat babies.
So Roseanne Barr has been saying this for a long time, and people said she's crazy. Jim Carrey has been very vocal for many years. I don't know if he said that in particular, but he has said many disturbing things. He's been also like he's going crazy. And Mel Gibson has been talking about this for a very long time too. And he didn't direct this movie, but he's been very vocal about it and heavily promoting it. It was the movie The Sound of Freedom in 2023, which centers on the topic of, human trafficking in our children. So Mel Gibson has been in the forefront of this. And you know who else too? Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg too. So there's a lot of celebrities who are even thinking about starting their own production companies. They're trying to steer away from Hollywood because they feel like Hollywood is demonic.
Right.
And Roseanne Barr really affected me because, she's very loud. She's controversial. She's done a lot of things in her past that maybe has led her to her own downfall. Let's be honest. She's made some really crude remarks, but she's never faltered on this comment about them eating children. And I remember when Amy Winehouse passed away. I was a huge, huge fan of Amy Winehouse, and I still am. And her death, like I cried for days because I just felt like a connection with Amy Winehouse through her music. And she was a tortured soul.
Right.
And after Amy Winehouse passed away, that celebrity, my goodness, he did the show. Oh my God, he did Doogie Howser when he was a little kid. Neil Patrick Harris. So Neil Patrick Harris had like a Halloween party, but Amy Winehouse had just died. It couldn't have been more than a week. And he had on top of one of the tables at his home where he was having this big celebrity Halloween party, a replica of Amy Winehouse cake, dead. She was dead with blood and everything, and they were eating her. It was a cake, but it was just reflective of how they do really disturbing things. So these are the things that, yes.
What?
Yes. Yes. And I remember seeing that because I was like, how the fuck can you do that?
Cool. Like, how do you think that that's okay? Like, oh yeah, it'll be fun.
He had to issue an apology because somebody that was at the party took a video and pictures and put it on social media. And Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, because she died of alcohol poisoning and she was only like 27 years old. And this picture resurfaced. And yeah, he had to say that it was in poor taste and that he was really sorry and that he didn't mean anything by it. But these are the type of things that who does that?
Yeah.
That's awful.
I never, I heard of people sacrificing people, demonic Satan worship and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I never believed it.
Yeah.
Until I was listening to a podcast. I couldn't even finish it.
Yeah.
It was a young girl telling her story of how her parents joined this, I'm going to call it a cult, right? Because what else would you call that?
Yeah. Right.
Demonic cult. And her mother made her, they sacrificed I think it was a 4-year-old. And her mother made her eat the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't finish it.
Yeah.
I believe it's out there. I do.
I never believed that. I know there's evil there, and I know that there's people that do evil shit.
Yeah.
But I never believed that someone would actually intentionally kill a child.
Yes.
To eat them, to sacrifice them and eat them.
And Monica, that's what brought me closer to God.
Sick.
That's what brought me closer to God.
Sick people in this world.
Because I realized if that type of evil exists, that demonic evil, there has to be a God. There has to be goodness that separates us. Not to get religious, but it's just that is what made me say, no, I need to start praying. I need to seek Jesus. I need to seek the Lord. I need to pray because this is outrageous.
Yeah.
So here is the
evil.
audio of Roseanne Barr.
Oh, they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because
They
you
do.
spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. And, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country.
So you listen to her speak, and yes, it's outrageous and it's outlandish, and it's very easy to dismiss her and say, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Vampires, cults, eating babies, she's nuts. But I don't know anymore.
Well, isn't that actress that she was in Transformers, the first one?
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
What about her?
She said
She said it.
they drink blood.
They drink blood.
She said that?
Yeah.
What did she say?
That they drink blood.
Her and
her
Machine
Gun Kelly or whatever.
Kelly.
She said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
They
She admitted to that.
shit. It's something they do. She didn't say they sacrifice people or whatever, but that,
Admit to drinking.
blood. I don't know if she said
Lioness.
human, but she just said
She
blood.
said blood. Yeah.
Wow, Monica, you are right. It says here, yes, Megan Fox has publicly admitted that she and her then fiance, Machine Gun Kelly, have drank drops of each other's blood, but she's been clear about what she meant. Here's what she actually said on the record. Fox posted on Instagram when they got engaged that, yes, we drink each other's blood, which got a lot of attention. In interviews with Glamour UK, and she reiterated parts of this later in other interviews as well. She explained it wasn't dramatic or like vampire stuff, but that they did like to drink each other's blood.
Why?
It's not like vampire stuff. That sounds like vampire stuff.
That sounds exactly like vampire stuff.
That's where it all begins, between each other. And then,
Right?
Yeah.
If you like the taste.
yeah. And if they break up, right, she's going to go somewhere else and get it. That's a vampire.
I don't know, man. It's just you. Like I said, this is one of the reasons I think why the three of us were a little nervous to do the show, because it's just
so much.
such an overwhelming amount. But just to scale it back to Jeffrey Epstein, one of the things that I always wondered about is like, okay, he had this humble beginning. Yeah, he was doing all these things, but how did he get $1 billion? Like how do you get to that point? Because 2 million, 3 million, okay, what? But how do you get to the point where you're like at $1 billion? So I did a little deep dive on that, and here's what I found out. So his rise to influence began with his connection to billionaire Les Wexner. And if you don't know who Les Wexner is, trust me, you have spent enough money in Les Wexner's stores to know who he is. Victoria's Secrets and Bath and Body Works. Okay. So Epstein was introduced to Wexner in the late 1980s, which is when Victoria's Secrets and Bath and Body Works were like starting to get like the height of their like power and stuff. And he quickly became a trusted advisor. And in 1991, Wexner gave Epstein power of attorney over his personal finances, giving him complete control over his investments, real estate, and other major financial decisions. And at the time, Wexner trusted Epstein implicitly, believing he was a brilliant financial manager who could simplify the complexities of his immense wealth. But Epstein's reputation and connections made him appear even more credible due to this relationship with him, and granting him such authority seemed convenient, a decision that would later have serious consequences. Having Wexner, one of the richest retail executives in the whole United States, and the figure behind Victoria's Secrets, as his client, boosted Epstein's reputations and standing in elite circles. And even though he had little legitimate financial experience before that, Epstein died with almost $1 billion. So that's kind of how it began for him. That's how he was able to buy all the homes that he bought, ladies. I mean, he bought homes in New York, in Paris, in New Mexico. He had a freaking ranch. Let me see where else. U.S. Virgin Islands. I mean, how do you buy these massive properties?
But he stole from him.
He stole from him. He stole from not just him. He stole from other
people,
billionaires.
Of course,
but they never reported it.
Okay,
but
I don't think he stole from them. He says he stole from me. That's what Wexler is saying. Don't you think that maybe it was blackmail? You got to give me this money, or I'm going to release.
It was blackmail because they never went after him.
He never went after them. Because if you
they let it go, blackmail right there.
Yeah,
come on.
For some, sure, but if
not that amount of money, though.
No, not that amount. But there's some rich people that will never admit to being taken advantage of. That's one thing. Not to say that they're not all saints or whatever, but they will not admit to being taken advantage of like that. But he did. He took from a lot of people. That's how he got money.
Mm-hmm. That's how
he made his.
Well, Wexner, he says that he was duped, but that he wasn't blackmailed. And he testified in Congress that Epstein was a world-class con man who misled him and abused his trust. But he denied ever being aware or involved in any of Epstein's criminal conduct. And Wexner has said he was conned and he was gullible, but that he was not blackmailed. But I, as someone who's just using common sense, how can you not sue somebody or go after them in the court of law to try and get, because it's not $10 million. We're talking about almost $500 million.
He gave him power of attorney, though.
I don't know.
He signed.
I think he had something on this guy so bad that he just was like, take the money and leave me alone. It just doesn't add up.
But what are you going to sue for? You gave him permission.
Yeah.
You legally gave him permission to handle your money how he saw fit.
But if you can prove that it was like egregious. It's an egregious thing what he did. You can still win. Because yes, power of attorney is
Yeah, but if he has something on him, he ain't going to do it.
right. And that's what I'm
Right.
saying. He had to have been blackmailed.
Exactly. I believe that.
Like, come on, not to get into Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton hung out with him before he was convicted. Bill Clinton has not been proven to have done anything wrong. There's suspicions, right? We all have our suspicions. But damn, why did he have in his house in New York, when you open the door, the first thing that you see is a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress wearing high heels with his legs crossed across a chair? If that's not to tell Bill Clinton, I fucking got you. You're my bitch. Come on. Who does that? Who hangs a picture like
Of a
that in their
president.
house? Have you seen that picture?
But there's videos and photos of Bill Clinton in pools with young girls and stuff. So
Yes, but and I'm not
that he didn't do anything wrong.
I'm not defending him. It's completely
crock of shit.
I know, Monica, but he has not been proven yet in the court and through.
They're not going to go after them. They're not going to go after these high profile people. An ex-president, what are they going to charge him with? They're not.
And they're going to get rid of whoever has information too.
Well, you know who
'Cause here's the
pisses me
thing.
off is Hillary Clinton, because she came out and said, "Oh, Ghislaine Maxwell." That's how you say her name, Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, I knew her, but we weren't close. Mind you, she's like in the front row at her daughter's wedding.
Yeah, but you're not close.
And you're not close. Like you know that when you have a wedding, that's probably like one of the most intimate things that you invite people to. It's an honor to be invited to somebody's wedding and to have a good seat also at the wedding. And Ghislaine Maxwell is there front and center at Chelsea's wedding.
Right.
It's just so damn corrupt. And I'm not trying to say that Bill Clinton is not guilty. It is majorly suspicious and grotesque in my opinion. But at the end of the day, yet they haven't really been able to find something to truly say you are guilty of this, which is the same with other powerful people like our current President Trump and Bill Gates, but not Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew, he's fucked.
Yeah,
He's royally fucked.
royally fucked. But
Let's get into Andrew.
well, yeah, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, had a long-standing friendship with Jeffrey Epstein that began in the early 1990s. And unlike some of Epstein's other high-profile acquaintances, his relationship carried serious legal and public consequences. Epstein's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, claimed she was forced to have sexual encounters with Andrew while a minor, a claim he has denied, but which ultimately led to a civil lawsuit in 2022. The settlement, which was reached without Andrew admitting liability, had far-reaching effects. He stepped back from all royal duties, lost his royal patronages, and gave up military affiliations. He also resigned from private boards and philanthropy positions and has largely retreated from public life, effectively becoming one of the most isolated senior royals.
Well, listen, now this cannot be proven, but it ain't looking good. Now, it's undisclosed how much Virginia Giuffre got, but it is speculated that it was around $16 million. And she was paid before the Queen Elizabeth passed away. And it is heavily rumored that the Queen was the one that paid it because Andrew is and always will be her favorite and most beloved child. Heavily documented how much she loved him. And once the Queen passed away, that's when the other family members were like, okay, mom is not here anymore to protect you. We're done with you. And it happened very quickly after the Queen passed away. Very quickly. They cut ties with him. And the Duchess of York, where is she today? She's missing. It is said that she hasn't done any wrongdoing, but is in very poor taste what she has been documented in saying. And when he got arrested, it is said that she went to Dubai. And nobody has seen her for over a month. Yeah.
So those are rumors.
That Fergie is missing? That's not rumors.
No, that she paid the royal family.
that is a that she got 16 million. It is not confirmed, but they're saying that's pretty darn close, and that sounds about right. But they said that the money came from the Queen.
This is the same lady who wrote a book
that is now dead.
and apparently
hit by a bus?
Apparently,
Well,
took her life.
Supposedly she killed herself. I don't believe it.
She supposedly threw
Yeah,
herself in front of a bus.
supposedly. Another supposedly.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I
The
don't believe it
minute they
either.
said that she committed suicide, I was like, bull fucking shit. She
Yeah,
killed herself.
no way.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse, but it's just she didn't.
No.
I don't believe that.
She was loved by her family. She was financially secure to have a fresh start. There's no way. I don't believe that for a second.
And then now he's been arrested.
He's been
What?
released. He's been arrested and released, but he's not off
Where
the
they
hook.
They haven't
charging him with?
charged him yet.
They're
Well, they
char-
arrested him.
They're
so they-
investigating.
No, I'm going to tell you what they
It's under
charged him.
investigation.
I'll have to fact check
Hold on a
myself
second.
now, but
when they arrest you, they're charging you with something.
yes. And what
So
they
what is he being charged with?
they arrested
to be
him.
charged for something?
Yes, they arrested him for giving away confidential secret data from the royal family to him. Not anything related to Epstein. That's how they got him. It's like they got Capone on taxes.
Right. Okay.
They're going that route.
So now he was charged with that, and so now the investigation
And he
begins.
might be convicted for something completely different. Yeah, just like Al Capone. They got him for taxes.
Well, yeah, it says here, Prince Andrew was arrested in England on suspicion of misconduct in public office as part of an ongoing investigation tied to newly released documents connected to the Epstein scandal.
So
Meaning he
they're
shared
finding a
information
loophole.
he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
So because they can't charge him for the sexual stuff because it happened here.
Oh, but those pictures are disgusting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's also kind of, it makes me think about that guy. He grosses me out too. Dr. Atia?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's wild. That's wild.
And his name is in there a lot.
Well, 1,700 times, my friends.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's a big difference when you're named once or twice, but 1,700, okay? So Dr. Peter Atia, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I have a little information here if you don't know. Dr. Peter Atia is a physician and a longevity expert. And I personally liked him because he was really in the forefront for women's health and hormone replacement therapy. And he was always very he was a man that was looking out for women. So I was like, this guy is cool as hell, you know? So when I researched on him, I felt really sad, betrayed, you know? But just to get back to some facts here, again, he worked a lot with metabolic health and preventative medicine and women's health, okay? So he was found to show up more than 1,700 times in correspondence and emails with Epstein spanning over several years. And this was after his conviction of being a sexual predator. Okay. So according to Adia, these communications were personal and professional in nature. And supposedly they focused on science and research and the introduction to other contacts. And he met Epstein roughly 7 or 8 times during all of those years, but they were always in New York. It was not on the island and he was not on the plane. So I think it's also very important to point that out. Some of the emails that he was exchanging with Epstein were crude, tasteless, but they were jokes. And it's not illegal to be an asshole.
Right.
At the end of the day, okay? Adia did say that he was very embarrassed and that some of the things that he said in those emails and correspondences were indefensible. But at the end of the day, ladies, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing. He just made a really big mistake. Now, I will tell you that some of the things that he said in the emails, maybe some people would say, oh, that's how guys talk to other guys, this locker room talk, right? We've heard terminology like that. But I think because he's a doctor, right? He's a doctor. Doctors are held with a higher, morals.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And it's an oath that you take. If this would have been a CEO of a sneaker company, I've been like, okay, whatever. But when it's a doctor, especially when he's talking about health and women's health and stuff like that, it was just kind of like, oh, dude, really? You know? But in one of the emails, he said the following. So on one of the emails that he received on the subject line, it said, got a fresh shipment. And Epstein responded, me too, with a photo that was also redacted. And Adia responded, please tell me you found that picture online, you dirty bastard. And Epstein replied, afraid not. Adia wrote back that the biggest problem with becoming friends with you is that the life that you lead is so outrageous and I can't tell anyone. I can't tell a soul. Dun, dun, dun. Questionable.
But he didn't know nothing.
Now, then he made a crude remark about the woman's anatomy. So there was a few other email exchanges between them both. Again, locker room talk if you want it worded like that. But he would say things to him. Now, if you have children in the car, you may want to lower the volume. But he would say, pussy is indeed low carb. Still awaiting results on the gluten content, though. Ha, 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 ha. So again, is that illegal? No. It's not. And at the end of the day, it's not illegal to talk to people like this, to say things like this.
Right.
But the consequences are losing your job.
Got a fresh shipment today.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Fresh shipment of what? Exactly.
Yes.
And your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I can't tell a soul.
But she knew about it.
Right.
Right. Right.
That tells you he knew about it.
Right.
And he was fired. He was fired from CBS. He was fired from many endorsement deals. So his life is pretty much, for lack of a better word, in shambles and is fucked. So that's just one. And we haven't even tapped into yet with Bill Gates.
I mean, there's a long list of people who have resigned or have lost their positions because of it.
But I think we should definitely
Epstein
give some
thing.
time. I know we've been talking about this a lot, but there are certain people that just gave me the ick. Yes, Bill Clinton has given me the ick, and so has Trump given me the ick, but not as much as Bill Gates.
That dirty
Bill
mofo.
Gates, to me, is just absolutely abhorrent, and it has given me sleepless nights. And I will tell you, ladies, that his wife leaving him, I mean, she even said, Melinda, right? Melinda French Gates, I believe her full name is. She said that from the day that she met Epstein, she was like, I don't ever want to be with him again. I don't even want to be in the same room with him again. Like from the first day, you know?
You know how I feel about her. I think she fucking is dirty too. I think she knew something.
I don't know. I know we've talked about this off the show. I don't think Melinda is.
I'm not saying she was on the island.
No.
Not saying she was
But
part
she
of the
knew
clique.
something.
She knew something.
Yeah.
Because that was a lot of years dealing with Epstein.
Well, so did Hillary, though.
Even after he was convicted.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole divorce, her and him having a divorce, getting a divorce, that was more for saving face for the foundation than anything else.
I agree.
That's what that was for. Because the foundation is huge.
Right.
You know, and they knew that all this shit was coming out and stuff was being said. So
Yeah.
she had to.
But here's the thing. Why would Gates even associate with Epstein from 2011 and 2014 when this was well after his conviction on being a sexual deviant, pedophile, whatever you want to call it? Like you are Bill fucking Gates. What the fuck are you doing? You understand what I'm saying? And of course, he's like, oh, it was in poor judgment. You know, it was for my philanthropy and for my fundraising. And he knows a lot of wealthy people. But there comes a point in time where you have to stop for a second and say, no, money is not what matters. I cannot associate with you.
Does any of your philanthropy have to do with children?
Exactly.
Why are you hanging out with a pedophile?
Exactly. Yes.
There's no excuse. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be taking care of children, right? And whatever, providing things for them and vaccines and help and this and that.
Yeah.
And you're hanging out with a pedophile.
I don't know. Going back to Melinda, I just think that she always knew that he was a creep, that he was abhorrent. And I just feel like people in those we're humble women, you know, we're not married to people like that. And these powerful people in positions do associate with many, many different people.
Yeah.
And she's got her own career, her own life, her children. And they're probably not in each other's lives every day like maybe we are with our spouses. Is that fair to say? So perhaps she knew that she knew that he was talking to him, but maybe didn't know the extent of it. That's what I'm trying to say, because when she found out that he was so deep into this, she was like, I'm out. And I have a lot
she
of...
had to.
But Hillary didn't.
Yeah, but they're a different breed. The Clintons, even before this whole Epstein drop stuff, there's shit that has been said about them that is a whole different line of work here.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Gates. They have a lot of philanthropy.
Yeah.
They're buying all these things, vaccinations.
We didn't even get into vaccines. Yeah.
Money coming in
Crazy.
from all angles. And
Yeah.
that would have destroyed everything.
Right.
So she had to part from that to save the foundation.
Yeah.
Because she's very involved with the foundation.
She is heavily.
Heavily
That's like her
involved.
baby. Yeah.
Right.
That's like her baby. Yeah.
And okay, so he was with Epstein because of the foundation and the philanthropy and all that.
Yeah.
They're talking about pandemics in 2015
That's true.
in the emails. They're getting together in Geneva to do conferences and
That's
teaching
true.
of all this stuff in 2015. I mean, come on.
It's just so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep.
It is.
It is.
It's and maybe she didn't know the extent, right? So now she's seeing the emails and she's seeing the conversations and she's seeing who knows what else she's seeing, because there's too much for me to go through. So I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, now she's like, holy shit, thank God that I cut ties or got divorced, because this is sick, whatever.
Yeah.
But she knew that I think she knew something was.
She had to have known. I mean, people talk.
There's no way that you're involved so heavily in shit and you don't know. That circle is big.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that, to be fair, because we've talked about some pretty important names here, we should not dodge a bullet here. And we should talk about our current president, which is President Trump. So here is the deep dive that I did. I tried really hard to be I fact checked myself 3-4 times because I didn't want to be giving out wrong information. But here is what can be proven. Okay. So Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were socially acquainted in 1990 through the early 2000s. They appeared together in many photos, attended some of the same events, and were known in the Palm Beach and New York social scenes. None of that has been denied by Donald Trump.
Right.
At the time, Epstein was already wealthy and well-connected, and Trump, like many other in those social circles, knew him casually. Now, according to Trump, he cut ties with Epstein long before the 2008 conviction. It is reported that he called Epstein a creep and said that the falling out happened in the earlier years of 2000, putting the end to their friendship somewhere in the early 2000s. Public records and reportings generally support this timeline, though the exact date is not clear, hence why I have not been able to give you that right now. One concrete example of the split does involve a Mar-a-Lago incident. Okay, so Epstein was banned from Trump's club after reportedly hiring staff who had worked for Trump and engaging in other actions and allegations of inappropriate behavior. So allegations were reported. At that time, it is logged that he was banned from Mar-a-Lago forever. Okay. It is important to note that while Trump had social relationships with Epstein, there is no evidence linking Trump to Epstein's criminal activities. Investigations and released documents do not show Trump participating in or felicitating Epstein's abuse network. Their interactions appear to have been social and part of a broader world of wealthy and powerful people in the same room. So in short, Trump did end his relationship with Epstein. Some years are a little fuzzy, but they did happen before his conviction. He did say that this was citing personal and professional disputes with one another, and that the Mar-a-Lago ban serves as a visual and concrete point of separation that Trump says he's very proud of, to be able to say, that guy was a creep and I knew it a long time ago. So that's what I've been able to find out that is true, but some dates are a little murky. But there is nothing on the flight logs. There are no pictures of him on the island. There are no pictures of him hanging out with him like buddy buddies. There's like a couple with Melania. Like there are a few with Melania, like couples and stuff, but not much more than that. So I do want to bring that up too, because we've talked about Bill Gates. We've talked about Bill Clinton, and I'm not defending Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's a little bit more deeper than Trump himself, but Bill Clinton they haven't really been able to prove that he also did anything illegal, that it was in poor taste, that it was
He went
poor
to the
judgment.
islands.
But they haven't. And some of the pictures where Bill Clinton has people sitting on his lap, they're adults. It looks like they're children, but they're not. They are adults. This is the same guy who fucked a girl in the Oval Office. Okay. So the guy, he's a horny bastard, but does that mean that he had sex with children? No, it doesn't. But
it doesn't mean he did.
But it doesn't mean he didn't. And I'm not defending any.
right.
I am not defending any of these people. I just want to stick
To the facts.
Because there are a lot of rumors. So, ladies, I think we've tapped into a deep dive on Epstein, but I don't think no discussion on Jeffrey Epstein is complete without really talking a little bit about Ghislaine Maxwell. And she was his longtime associate and confidant. She was later convicted of sex trafficking, and her role was central in maintaining Epstein's network of influence and secrecy. Public records show she moved within the same circles, the same social circles as Epstein, Prince Andrew, and even Sarah, Duchess of York. But her conviction underscores that her criminal actions were personal choices, not reflective of everyone in Epstein's orbit. And even though Epstein's crimes have been devastating to listen to, they also reveal a system that protects very powerful people and silence the voices of many victims. Survivors, like we mentioned before, Virginia Giuffre, she bravely came forward. And that was kind of like the beginning of this kind of unraveling and unfolding. And it is speculated that we're dealing with dozens and dozens of victims.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely devastating. And, I not to keep going back to that AI video, but damn, that it makes you think because I saw pictures of Maxwell asking for immunity now, and that didn't look anything like her, Monica. Her nose is double the size. Her eyes are not hooded, and her eyes in real life are hooded. It's just something's off, Mo. Something's off with this woman.
So she's not in prison.
I don't think so.
She's in another island somewhere.
But I find it interesting that they only grabbed her because there was a couple of people that were helping them. I mean, it's not just the two of them doing this whole operation on their own. I'm sure there's people.
Well,
Like that, what about that French model?
There's
she was the main.
there's 4 women that were pretty close in the circle. I'm probably gonna say all their names wrong, but there's a Leslie Groff, Adriana Ross, Sarah Callan Vickers, Nadia Masinkova. I think they all were they were not arrested, and they were close-knit and helping.
Gave information that led to Ghislaine.
Yeah.
They probably gave enough information that can.
And just imagine all the stuff that we haven't brought up, that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's important to talk about these things.
I know.
Raise awareness.
We all want to bring down everyone involved, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants everyone to get arrested. And which,
because they know they have information.
That would be great. But I think the only reason why wouldn't they have released anything when Donald Trump was running for office? Right. They had the files.
Well, that's a good point.
They could have used it to make sure he didn't win.
Right.
But they didn't even.
Yeah, because the Biden administration had the files for 3 years.
They didn't have to go into details. They could have just said, oh, look, his name is here.
Yeah.
Right.
His name and him, they're hanging out there buddy. They could have done that too.
It's just because it's too many powerful people.
And
it'll if you really find out everyone, if you really find out and you deep dive and you find out everyone who's involved, it could collapse the whole system.
That's my thought exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's too many higher ups that if everything comes down, shit will crumble.
Yeah. It's just really sad.
It is.
They're all getting away with it.
They are.
It is.
And it's sad, but I mean,
But you know what? But we have the freedom to do things like this,
Talk
where we
about
can
it,
get on
yeah.
a microphone. We're just three friends from South Florida who are like, hey, this is uncomfortable, but let's do it because it's a story that should be heard and never forgotten.
And with that, we're going to end the show. Jeffrey Epstein's story is more than just a scandal. It's a stark reminder of a world where power shields the guilty, secrets are currency, and the voices of the victims are often silenced. The flights, the parties, the private islands, the names in the logs, they tell a story of influence and access, but they don't tell the whole truth. And that truth remains hidden, just beyond our reach. As we close this episode, remember, it's up to us to look closer, to ask the questions no one else will, and to confront the systems that allow these shadows to thrive. We may never know every secret, but we can bear witness, stay vigilant, and never turn away from the truth.
And with that,
Hasta la próxima.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss an episode.
we will be dropping an episode every 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. No, like, seriously. Subscribe now.
So just chill to the next episode. Follow us on Insta and TikTok.
Hasta la próxima.